This is Don Martin, and welcome to Coffee with Pam. And I want to go ahead and turn this over to our host with the most. Pam, take it away.
Hi, Don. I just wanted to say hi, and I'm so glad to see you again. And this is so much fun because we get to talk about Northridge, and we get to talk about when we was growing up, and we was talking about second grade the other day.
Yeah. So
I
we
have-
are going to share some stories. We're going to reminisce. We're going to go all the way back to second grade. And if I can work by tech, well, I'll go ahead and share some screenshots, some wonderful mug shots of Pam and I and our other classmates. And I'm going to let Pam share her story first. So Pam, take it away.
Well, we was talking about second grade, and I had Mrs. Poorman in the second grade, and I didn't like school very much. And the thing is I cried every morning because I had a birth defect that they didn't know that I had. And every morning I would cry and cry, Mom, I got a bellyache, or Mom, I'm this or that. Well, Mrs. Poorman, she had this way about her that she was retiring that year, and I'm sure she was pretty sick of children. But she was a really good teacher. And I don't know why I cried, but it was basically because I didn't know I was sick. And I remember I I'd cry before going to school, and I'd tell my mom, Mom, I've got a bellyache, I don't feel good. And so finally one day Mom decided to take me to the doctor, and she said, Pam, I'm gonna tell you something. She said, I am so tired of you whining and crying about going to school. And so she took me to the doctor, and the doctor said that my white blood count was like out of sight, out of this world. And my mom was like, oh my gosh. Well, he's like, take her to the hospital. He said, she's got something pretty wrong with her. And I remember before she took me to the doctor, she said, I'm going to whip your little hind end for you because I'm so sick of shooing you out the door every day, and you cry every day about going to going to Miss Poorman's class. And so all the way to the hospital, I was sitting in between my mom and my grandma, and I'm thinking, please let me be dying because I'm going to get a whipping. I would rather, I would rather, I would rather, I would rather be dying than get the whipping, which later on, after 3 kidney surgeries and going and being in the hospital for a long time, I'd rather took the whipping. I really would have. But anyway, Mrs. Poorman, our second grade class, we was talking about how I kept those cards. I was in the hospital for over a month, and I kept all them cards for years that the whole second grade sent me. I mean, it was, what was Miss Geiger's class and Miss Foreman's class. And I kept all those cards and letters from my friends for years that I remember going back and looking at them. And, after have so many cards and letters and birthday cards from your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles, you have to kind of throw things out. But I remember looking at those cards and letters because they meant so much to me, because all the classmates made them for me.
Now, can you see this picture, Pam? I'm sharing.
I can see it.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So I think our viewers can see this. Okay, so I went ahead and threw up the pictures of Pam's class. Now, we all went to the same school, right? So John H. Morrison, but this is Mrs. Poorman because we were broken up in different classes. And then remember later on, we'd take different like art or English or math or something. We'd change around a little bit later. But there you are, Pam. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure this picture was being
I,
shown. Go ahead.
I think I was intimidated by her. Karen, who was in my class, Karen and Natalie was both in my class. And I also had a picture of them in a newspaper clipping where Mrs. Poorman retired. And I think my mom still has it. I will have to look for it. But there was a newspaper clipping of Karen and Natalie with Mrs. Poorman, you know,
Here's
for
Natalie.
her retirement. Because, pardon me.
There's Natalie right there, right? You see my cursor going over Natalie?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
And so anyway, um, Karen had wrote on Facebook the other day, "My big brown eyes can see everything." Well, Mrs. Poorman used to say that to us all the time. "My big brown eyes can see everything that you do." And this is what's hilarious, was about the time, right? She said that right at the time that I was making my glue fingernails in my pencil tray. Because if you put the glue in the pencil tray by recess time, you could have fingernails. So as the time I'm putting my glue in my pencil tray, Mrs. Foreman come out with, and I was real intimidated and a real like skittish kid. I was afraid of, getting in trouble. As a matter of fact, I never even had a detention in school. I never got in trouble. I was always afraid to get in trouble because I knew if I got in trouble at school, I was going to get in trouble at home. So I was like, no, that's all right. So yeah, as I'm making my glue fingernails, Mrs. Foreman popped out with, "My big brown eyes can see everything that you do."
Oh my gosh. That's
So
a that's an interesting story. That's an awesome story, though. I mean, that you remembered all these cards, right? And you saved them. That everyone sent you when you're sick. So that was awesome. And then, of course, who likes? I'm a dude. I'm a boy. I ended up liking making those pretty cool fingernails, man. I turn them into like claws.
claws,
Yeah,
like too
werewolf.
bad Wolverine wasn't popular back then.
Yeah, right,
You'd
right.
have been Wolverine with your fingernails.
Yep. Well, let's see if I can get find my ugly mug here. Here we go. Mrs. Geiger. She was my story's a little different than yours. She was one of my favorite teachers, Pam. So I'm going to share some pictures here of that class. Let me just zoom out. So this is Mrs. Geiger right here. Viewers, if you can kind of see this, I'm on my Facebook. I'm sharing my screen. That's Mrs. Geiger. She was my favorite teacher. And do you see Steve Holmes in here? Is he in that picture? Let's see Steve. Do you? Yeah, he is right there. Yeah, right there he is. Okay. So I'll share my little story here. So Steve Holmes back then, he was one of my pals, So was Troy Henry. I think his picture is right there. There's Troy. Of course,
Mhm.
we were all pretty close. There's Keith Dotson, if you remember Keith Dotson.
He was my first
Let's see who
boyfriend.
else we have in this picture. Look at Harlan Strine. Uh, let's see who else we got. Daryl Highland, Sherry. So anyway, I digress. I want to get through this story really quick. Sorry. So anyway, so Steve and I were buddies. We're hanging out at the playground, right? So he was climbing the side of the school building. Okay. And then, he came down. He went like halfway and came down. And I said, I bet I can climb higher than you. And he goes, well, go ahead. Let's see you do it. So I went ahead and climbed to the top of the school building. I lost my footing at the top and my hand slipped and I fell all the way down, landed on my back, knocked the wind out of me. And I remember all the playground teachers come running up and students were gathering around. But Steve, I looked around and he booked. I just see his jean jacket and his feet gone, and I thought maybe he went and asked for help. But I find out later
I'm
that
getting in
he
trouble. I'm out of here.
said, I'm out of here. Oh, get caught, I'll get in trouble with but anyway, I remember Mrs. Geiger come leaning over me and looking at me, and here I'm got the wind knocked out of me. I can barely breathe and try to get the sense of what occurred. And I said, she goes, Don, just be still. The ambulance is on its way. It's coming. So I said, well, no, if the ambulance takes me away, I'll be late and I'll miss half a day of school and things of that nature. And she goes, Don, look, you don't worry about that. You got to pass out. You got an excuse for this. You'll get your silver dollar. Cause she used to give perfect attendance, silver dollars, or the kids silver dollars.
Awesome.
Right. But I remember her kneeling down. She goes, Don, or Donnie, as they called me back then. She goes, Donnie, do you care if may I pray for you? And I didn't know. I said, yeah. And I didn't know what was going on. I was still trying to gather myself, maybe in a touch of shock. And I remember she prayed for me. held my arm there and says, after she prayed for me and had her hand on my arm, she goes, in Jesus' name I pray, amen. And she goes, the ambulance is coming. You'll be just fine. So anyways, the ambulance took me away. Um, I was still, kind of in shock, I think. And wouldn't you know it, I didn't even have a scratch or bruise on me, no concussion or whatever. And I did stay home from school the next day, but came back to school and asked Steve, why did he take off and leave me? But anyway, those were good times. That was one of my stories from second grade. And how many teachers today, Pam, that can pray with you or will pray for you or over you in today's schools. But Mrs. Geiger did. But she was so fun. She was one of my most favorite teachers that I can remember even going through. And of course, what we had Mrs. Carpenter. She was pretty cool. I had her for first grade. Then we had Mrs. Nasty. Do you remember her? Mrs.
I
Owens.
did.
Mrs. Owens kind of took a break there, though. Mrs. Holly stood in for
Miss
her.
Holly took over for her.
Yeah.
I remember being so shocked in the 5th grade that my aunt and we went to Stumps one day, and she worked at Stumps also. She was the cashier at Stumps, and I remember thinking, why is a teacher working at Stumps as a cashier? I mean, I remember, but she was our yeah, Mrs. Owens had got I don't know if she was ill or
Yeah.
what happened to her, but um I I remember though wanting Mr. Sink so bad
He
in the
was so
5th
cool, wasn't he?
grade.
Where's he at? I got a picture of him
Like
somewhere.
he was the coolest. And I remember, you know, it's funny because he would come down the hall, and I didn't have him, but if you didn't have Mr. Sink, it didn't matter because he knew all of us.
Oh yeah.
And he would come down the hall and he would sing, Familia, you're breaking my heart. And I'd think, you're just so cool. I wanted him so bad. I wanted to have him as a teacher so bad.
He was a cool teacher. I didn't have him as a teacher, but when we switched classes there or something for a certain period of time, I had, we'd have a class with him, but everybody loved him.
Absolutely.
Let's see if I can find my picture here. Oh, there I am. Look at me. Oh my gosh. Look at that haircut. That is me.
Oh,
Remember those
how
kind of
cute.
vest things weren't popular then? Boy, was I a thin little guy.
Well, I was too. I
Uh,
was really tiny back then.
Oh, you're gorgeous. You know it. Let's see who
And
else we
this,
got here. Who else we want to talk about before we end the show?
oh, and talking about like, I
Look, Coop.
this is a real cute little story because my ex-husband had Mr. Sink, and when we was on the way to the hospital to have my son Gavin, Cecilia came on the radio. And I was telling my ex-husband because he had Mr. Sink and he loved Mr. Sink. As a matter of fact, Mr. Sink used to go to my father-in-law. He used to have a beer with my father-in-law every now and
We did?
then. Yeah, Mr. Sink used to go to my ex-husband's house and go and have a beer with my father-in-law. And I got tickled because we was talking for some reason on the way to the hospital to have Gavin. We was talking about Mr. Sink, and because the song Cecilia came on the radio. And this is a really cool story because this when Cecilia came on the radio, of course I started singing it and Chuck was laughing and I started telling him about Mr. Sink singing Familia to me. And then
You know, Chuck?
so when we didn't know if Gavin was a boy or a girl. And it was kind of funny because when I had Shannon, the song came on. When he took me to the hospital to have Shannon, it came on again. And Chuck looked at me and we kind of joked about it because Chuck said, if this is a girl, because we never did find out what we was having with either one.
Yeah.
And Chuck said, if this is a girl, Pam, we should probably name her Cecilia. And I started laughing because it happened twice. And we thought about Mr. Sink on the way to the hospital, kind of crazy, but just things that you remember.
Oh,
Like I said, we're sharing good times. This is all this stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
This is about some. We have to have some laughter.
absolutely. Look at Marcia there. Look at Marcia. She always loved horses. She would
I
draw pictures
remember
of
that
horses. Remember?
all the way.
And she's married, got a couple young men, and there has a horse ranch. She rides and trains horses, and
How
well,
awesome is that?
I know, right?
That
That's
because I mean I remember her bringing. I mean I don't know if it was like show and tell, but I remember the Breyer horses, and I remember yeah, Marsha's always loved horses,
oh yeah.
always.
Here's Karen. See if I can tag her. Yep. So there's Karen, and she is a teacher.
We have a lot of teachers.
Yep.
We have a
Northridge.
lot that came out of our class that was teachers.
Yep. There's Chuck, and there's Harlan, Marcia. So yeah, there's Chris Abshire, right? Lori Bayless. Let's see what else who else we got here. See if I can find some more familiar faces. Donnie Hutchinson, old Hutch. Old, I don't
Yeah,
see it.
he
We're
caught
all
me.
the same age.
Donnie caught me one morning.
Where's he at?
I normally don't do this, but I went one morning to the gas station and I had my hair in curlers, and Donnie pulled right up beside me, and I turned and looked at him and I was like, don't even say. And he's like, I see your pictures on Facebook. I need a picture, Pam. And we were laughing because I had big rollers in my hair, and Donnie was just, well, I gave him a good laugh.
He's gonna kill me for showing that picture of him back here in second grade.
He said,
But Donnie, if you watch this, Hutch, I got pictures of you first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and our senior year. So I got all these pictures. And there's our wonderful hostess with the mostest, Pam, for a coffee with Pam. So let me, I'll stop sharing the screen here. We'll close it out. I don't know how long we've been. I think we went over our 20 minutes, but it's been fun, Pam. It's been good.
it's been a good time.
So, viewers, if you want to catch our program, we do broadcast this every Wednesday morning. Currently, it's on my YouTube channel because I'm Pam's producer, tech geek, guru, and everything until I get her ramped up with her own YouTube channel. So you can visit again, and it's under the playlist here at called Coffee with Pam. So join us every Wednesday morning. I'll make these go live typically at 9:30 a.m. And eventually, viewers, will have you being able to join us live. And we're also going to have special guests from Northridge, whether it is some teachers or our alumni, from our senior year in high school or growing up. So we're going to invite those and talk about, maybe we'll say, That Was Then and This Is Now, which was a famous book back then, I think, from S.E. Hinton, who also wrote, I'm a big reader, so are you, Pam, The Outsiders, right? And Rumblefish, right? That was required reading, I think, in high school was The Outsiders, wasn't it?
Yep. I loved it.
So anyway, we'll have That Was Then and This Is Now, so we'll have special guests. So Pam, is there anything in a closing remark you want to share with our viewers?
If you guys got some good stories, you can, and if you want to get on here and talk with us and you're interested, share some stories with us and some laughter. We all need some laughter and peace and good times right now. And I miss everybody. I miss hugging. And like I said on my Facebook page, I'm going to make it weird when I can get to hug people again. I'm going to make it weird. So, I mean, just be ready, because I'm a hugger and I need physical contact. So I miss everybody. I love you all. Peace out. Take care of yourself. Be safe.
And we would be doing this in person, Pam. We would be on your back patio. In the last episode, we gave a little visual of your backyard there. So we'd be enjoying this coffee in your backyard, or you'd come on down and enjoy it on my back deck. But I also want to say in closing, look, I know it's tough times. It's concerning. I agree with you. But tough times don't last. Tough people do. And we know that you're tough people. We're tough people. We're Ridgers. We're the class of 85. Oh, there I go again, showing my age. But we're Northridge strong. Hashtag Northridge strong. Hashtag Dayton strong. And we'll get through this. And may you make it a great day, because you have that choice, right, Pam? They have a choice of making a great day,
That's
right?
absolutely,
It's about your attitude.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So make it a great day, because you truly have a choice in making it a great day. Peace out.